Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to F.E.A.R. So, with any luck, I think this level is the beginning of the actual game, and what we've been doing up to this point has just been Extraction Point, which is a DLC, and boy does it make sense if that was left on the cutting room floor. It probably introduces Fextel, whatever the main guy is that we're chasing after, a little bit more, and it introduces Alma a lot more quickly into the story. But just this level alone, once we hit resume, we're going to be in a firefight, unlike every other section where it's been relatively slow. So we've got several people, and we just got off a helicopter, and we're kind of just waiting. This makes a lot more sense that you would start with a team and then they just get killed immediately. Like, that makes a lot more sense than what it seemed like it was kind of doing before, which was really just having me wander around on my own just because I didn't have a team. And they're just shooting out more people. And I was super short on bullets. Let's be honest here. I wasn't in a good position to start with. Just yeah, this area is actually kind of fine. I'm noticing the shotgun does not really have a lot of power behind it. And remember, I'm playing on easy, so this should be a little bit easier than what I'm running into, but let's just slow down time again and come over here. Like, you can't really stop the slowdown of the time. So, which gun do I want? Shotgun or something with more bullets? Or, like, it'd be really silly to take the handgun. Of course, I could try and swap some of the guns, but that would require more focus than I'm willing to try. Let's see. It does kind of seem like if you spend some extra time running around, you will find the right one, the right gun of the piles of guns to use, because then all the other bullets will overlap. But there is about 4 or 5 different styles of guns, so guess I could have run down here and hid down in this. We are seeing ever so slightly a different looking environment now and some more variety. This feels more like the main game and not DLC. We are in night, which I figured that's what was going to happen eventually, and we are entering the American building, where, if I was to guess, we're going to find the backstory of Alma and release her in some way, or run into her at the very least.
Like he just vanished. The weird thing is that the bodies of the Delta team he was with are all accounted for.
So there we're hearing like lines of dialogue that again kind of implies that maybe I'm just a hallucination. We're now back on the path, I think, for the rest of this area, where we are going to try to build up our health back up to into having 10 med kits and as much armor as we can maintain, and
We've lost contact with the roof. Can you confirm if there's been a breach? Unknown. We're checking it out.
Alright, so I still don't have any grenades. So we know those guys are going somewhere, but I don't know where. So I don't know if they're going to walk out from this end, or if they're just going to walk out from this end. There we go. It's not much of a challenge, but I think we really do have to start playing this way. I don't think we have much of a choice. And we're still running into branching paths that sometimes take you slightly different places, but should I swap for this gun? Yeah, I don't know. I think I was doing fine with that. And of course I picked up the bullets from another gun, so I've combined, theoretically at least, the bullets of two guns into one gun, but I imagine that that'll despawn if we were to try to run backwards long distances. Alright. So let's get them in our sights before we go. Get them into our sights before we start shooting.
What's your status? Reinforcements.
Now when they're calling for reinforcements, let's see, we've got to go and start using this gun, obviously, like, and those do explode now. Interesting. I wasn't really expecting that. So the electrical panels and these do now explode. I think we can kind of guarantee with consistency. We know that these also explode, but we'll probably never have a good opportunity to use that. It doesn't feel like the game is actually programmed in a way that that if I clear an area of enemies, you actually automatically come out of that slow time motion. We've been it's been a while since we've seen anything spooky. Like, we've kind of converted ourselves from from this non-reacting, emotionless person who's seeing all these spooky things to just a non-reacting, emotionless soldier. We're getting save files a little bit quicker. It does seem like if I hit the button, it stops the slowdown, but it takes it a while. But boy, am I playing a different game now, aren't I? Like, all of a sudden it becomes way too easy, and I can just kind of stupidly wander into a dangerous section because we are so just suited for it. Let's see, if I hit the back right now, that's fine to regain our health. And we are running into, I would say, enough collectibles and areas that I think actually do legitimately have, like, we're running into enough secret locations, or locations where at least a secret might be, that I can take my time, run around, reload my gun, wait for that slowdown time to refill. Now again, maybe if you're not playing on easy, the slowdown time takes longer to refill. But it also is a one-note trick right now. Just a lot of the same thing. Can I get over here? I don't think I can. Like, every fight now seems like it kind of requires this. Alright, we're getting some spooky sounds. Okay.
Hold position. Do you see him? Negative. Stay put.
I don't think I'm really hitting this guy the way I should be. One thing they could pretty easily do is just have ghost enemies that you shoot and just turn into mist. That wouldn't be terrible. And it's totally worth it to slow down time and save your bullets. In fact, I'm not sure if I didn't start adopting and playing this game the right way, I would have even made it this far in the game. It seems like once you get out of that extraction point DLC, the requirement, but we're not seeing any real tutorial stuff, so I kind of feel like the game, if this was the first level in the original game, might be throwing the player into just the weeds and not really explaining itself well. Now if we run across...
What the hell? That's picking up Jankowski in that general area. How the fuck did he get all the way here?
Still very weird that people are just commenting that they're getting a signal from you and then that's it. Like, it almost feels like they're intentionally trying to make it seem like you are just one of these clones that is being psychically controlled by a commander. If that's the case, though, then why would I be taking any actions when... Yeah, we're getting little things like that that I think are definitely implying that I'm something more than just a regular soldier. But it's probably going to be a while before the game tells us anything. And since we just saw that one Fenton Paxtell ghost, the flickering lights and other elements, I think probably won't mean that there's another jump scare unless we're just going to have less conflict than before. I mean, we are hitting save points pretty quickly. Maybe that's because I'm just playing the game the right way. Let's see where. So, looks like we could probably jump down this glass, and it may want us to. We've never taken fall damage, so it'd be funny if you could just jump off the edge, but this game doesn't quick save any of that, so I wouldn't suggest doing it. Not without quick saving myself. This is strange that this is the first time they're implying I should just jump down into the building. But I think I'm supposed to do that. And this is now Intervale 04 Infiltration Watchers. I don't think that the other piece of DLC for this game was called Infiltration. If it is, it'd be weird to have two pieces of DLC that are kind of unnecessary bits of story that are right before the actual game happens. Generally speaking, either the DLC in games happen after the main story, or happen as a side story, or even an alternate telling of a story. For it just to be basically filler would be pretty disappointing. But I also can understand how you have a nearly 15-year-old game, and if they just wanted more maps and more encounters and more gameplay, I could see people going for that and wanting to buy the DLC. If you told me that Resident Evil 4 released even in 2020 new DLC and it was just more of the same, I'd be alright with that. I'd hope that they'd finally gotten Resident Evil 4 to run pretty well on modern computers first, or at this point they should just remake it, and they almost certainly will after they're done remaking Resident Evil 3. It is kind of questionable how much you should compare something like F.E.A.R to Resident Evil. Both games series would have been out around the same time, but RE4 is more of an action horror RPG game, with horror being at the bottom, where this feels like this barely has RPG elements and is straight up more a militaristic shooter. So I really wouldn't want to compare the two, because I love RE4, and then in comparison this game is awful. So let's read this and see what the cutscene is. F.E.A.R operatives have successfully infiltrated Americam 4 or 5 levels into the game. SFOD escort neutralized in ambush. Additional U.S. Special Forces assets have been scrambled. Efforts to establish negotiations with hostile forces have been unsuccessful. Mission initial objective will be to get the company network online so that F.E.A.R coordinate can access the system. F.E.A.R operative will then proceed to the last known location of the SFOD reconnaissance team. So no longer is it just get and kill Fexel, whatever. His name is too weird for me to remember what it is.
The ATC's network is offline. I need you to find the server hub and reset it so I can get into the system. It should give us a better idea of what's going on in there.
Yeah, so it seems to me like we're like 10 minutes short here because I just ran through the game and played it better. So these episodes have to get shorter. The only other thought I could do would be to play 2 levels and then make them close to an hour long episodes, and that doesn't really make any sense. It also feels like this is a restarting, because that was really easy. We did not fight any of the special armored people. The most difficult fight was at the very beginning. The only thing that's weird there is there was no real tutorial telling you to use the slowdown ability, so I imagine a lot of people would have struggled with the beginning of this level if it was the first level in the game, which is my speculation. We got just one slightly spooky hallucination, but nothing really scary. And going forward, I guess if we just keep playing the game the way we are, we're gonna just have somebody tell us to do something more directly, and we're gonna do that thing. But it's mostly just gonna be running from point A to point B for each level. And honestly, I saw on howlongtobeat.com it was 10 hours to beat this game. I wonder if that was only the main game though. So this might be a 15 to 20 hour game with the 2 bits of DLC, and I still want to accelerate this experience. So because there's really no reason not to just run through this real quick. In all honesty, this if they made just a movie or something to recap the major events of the first 3 F.E.A.R games and then made a F.E.A.R 4, that would be a better way of ingesting the contents, because there's no real value in a 15-year-old military first-person shooter. Like, I'm not doing anything here that's particularly challenging. I had no intention of playing this game on hard. I had no intention of actually running into any kind of challenge here. The abilities have long since been surpassed with things like Bioshock or Singularity or Quantum Break even. Like, there's all kinds of games where you're in a first-person shooter and you have some kind of magical ability, at least one magical ability. Here we barely have a time slowdown mechanic. There have been games where you get time slowdown mechanics just because, and it's not even canonically storyline-wise explains why you would be able to do that, or indicated that you actually should have that ability. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to further follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.